Hello, everybody. Ed Thompson, Greensboro, coming to you today with the fourth Y Blast. We're about a month old. I thank you all for coming. If it's your first time, please feel welcome and accepted. And for you old veterans that have been here the whole other 3 times, thank you as well. Today, I'm going to move quickly, but not too quickly. What I mean by that is last week a viewer contacted me and said, Ed, if you will share a little bit of your story, the viewers might feel a little more comfortable in relating to you. They might know where you're coming from, and they might understand perhaps more about relationship. And that's really the topic we've been on for the last few weeks. Relationship with Him, with others, and within. So I want to begin my story telling you there's going to be 3 concise sections, and I'm going to tell it this way. The first section, or phase, let's call it phase 1. It's the rock and roll phase. Ed Thompson, section 1. Ed Thompson, let's just stick with phases. Phase 2, that was a religious time for me that I was going through. And finally, phase 3 is a relational or relationship phase that I'm currently going through. So keep your eye on these and your ears on these, because we're going to run through a little more of Ed Thompson's story right now. Phase 1, I'm going to give you a quick bio. Born in Beckley, West Virginia. 4 children in the family. Mom and Dad were really good providers, and in a modest home, they made sure we got a lot of the extras, and I'll never forget and can thank them enough. So, all was well until maybe in that first decade of life, but then the 60s and the 70s came to me, and I was growing up, I was growing more independent. And here's what happened. I was shaped by that culture in a number of ways. One way, and this is the important part, I wanted to be a people pleaser. So I learned how to do that. In fact, the culture shaped me, but Ed Thompson made the decisions. Number 2, I like to perform, maybe as the class clown. If that sweet looking girl thought I was cute, I would play for her. And then 3, perfection. I always thought, because I had people in my family that said, if you do good, you are good. And I put that deep into myself. Funny thing was, I didn't like myself like that at all. I was faking it. And the other thing is, I had no time to ask the question, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? So here we are, a guy that doesn't know where to go. I jumped into the rock and roll culture. That culture allowed me to be me, go to concerts, listen to music, do a little bit of the drugs and the alcohol, and anything else that culture entertained. Problem was, my 3 little friends, the P's, followed me into that culture, found myself trying to impress people by pleasing them and performing for them. And I'm thinking, can I not be me? And who is me anyway? Folks, in August of 1987, I went through the first phase for 3 decades. Okay, for the next 2 decades, I went into the religious phase. How did it happen? Once again, August of 87, I got on my knees. I said, if you're really God, prove it to me. I need help. He began to prove it to me. I received His Son, Jesus Christ, by grace through faith, and people began to pick up on it, not instantaneously. In other words, I developed a good hunger to read God's Bible. I had men come around me and disciple me, and I also wouldn't miss a church service. And then to top it all off, I was appointed an assistant men's minister for the city of Chattanooga. Now, Wasn't the city that actually gave me the job, but a ministry gave me a job as men's minister. In all of that, and over time, 3 little friends began to pop back up again. And I knew it. But because I was somewhat successful, I wanted to use those things to maintain my success. People pleasing, performing, and of course the old perfection. Now I had to be perfect for him. He was now on my list. Yes, God, check that off. You saw that. So the religious life was no life at all because it had me worked out, tired, and frustrated. And I'm thinking, is this all there is? In my 6th decade, that would be probably 7 or 8 years ago, since I turned 67 soon, I met some men who were very, very clear in walking with God, in the abundant life. And I said, I want to be like them. And very humbly, they said, well, Ed, because he lives in us, we have nothing to fear, nothing to prove, and nothing to hide. We can be ourselves as he designed us. And we do that by his grace. They gave me a verse that they probably give everybody, but it talks about Galatians 2:20, where the old Ed with the 3 P's actually died on the cross. So he's dead. The 3 P's, they're gone. And now there's a new creation. In 2 Corinthians 5:17 talks about that. I became the new creation. I walk every day in that truth with joy. I hope you can see it in me. So the relationship phase, number 3, is like a new lease on life. I can actually relate to him now without him grading me. It's just beautiful. I want to go on and on. So finally, folks, here's what I'm going to say to kind of wrap this up. I like me. And not only do I like me, I know why I'm here. Part of that camera right there and you on the other end is why I'm here. I want to let my light shine in such a way that people can see my good works and glorify my Father in heaven. That's huge for me. How many people know who they are and why they're here? I want to help you. Only because I came through and I'm practicing every day. Don't think I've got it down pat. I don't think you do. So, Psalm 23, I'm going to bring that up as we close it out today. Last week we were on 139. Let me put 23 over here. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Folks, read that tonight and think about how he is your shepherd. And with that, just know that you can take every verse and thank him for how he lives up to his faithfulness daily. And he does that especially for me in Psalm 23. Bless you all. Thank you for being here and have a great week. See you next week, Lord willing.